Starting with the Ghost Tarot. Let's see. Some days these cards are just flying out and some days they're a little stuck. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Oh. So we have here the... Is that the Sun card? That's the Sun card. So you have the Sun card. And the Sun is coming through, but it took me a second because it's like the ghosts are trying to hide from the Sun. But it's still illuminating them. It's like you can't stay out of the spotlight. I don't know. That's what's coming through. Let's get a little more clarification. So the Sun card usually is going to have like a really positive connotation to it. But it feels like you're trying to like decrease your visibility. That's what I'm getting from it. All right. So which one of these is next then? We've got the Knight of Wands and we've got the, is that the King of Swords? I'm not used to these symbols as much. And this is a short read, so great. And I'm in the dark because I didn't turn the light on as it's gotten darker in here. And I'm getting older. I think that's the King of Swords. So we've definitely got the Knight because there's a horse at the top. So we got the Knight of Wands. And he comes in pretty fiery. So are you stepping out of the spotlight because it feels like things are coming in too fast? So you're being called to figure out what it is that you want. If you don't want the spotlight, it just feels like this is too intense and you're wanting to pull back into the shadows to get your head clear. Sometimes these come in super clear and sometimes they come in and it's like, let's pull some teeth. So what's going on? What's making it to where things are feeling really intense? All right, we'll go ahead and take it. Minimize, alone, community, and disinterest. So what I'm getting from that is that you got to think about the relationships that you have, the people that you're around. I'm hearing pushed out of the Sun. So with this community, are you feeling like people are pushing you out of it? Are you feeling like you're being left out of the community? They're all circling around here and you're feeling alone and that they're not interested. We've gone over the time. So is this going to be a general or a slightly longer read? I think so. Let's go ahead and keep going. So they're stepping out of the Sun. Things feel really intense. It feels like this action, this move has been taken really quickly. And this feels like it's 3-3. I don't know. This has a really weird energy. I feel like you're in this kind of scattered energy of not knowing what's going on. And now I'm hearing, ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Only, is it dark clouds when she's away? Only dark skies when she's away. Only dark clouds. I'm not sure. But like that song, I can't remember who sings it, but it's very like emotionally deep and everything. And so with the Sun card, that's in reverse. It feels like you feel like the Sun's been taken away. And then with this isn't you. You feel like somebody just completely cut you off. That's what's going on. Yeah. As I say it, is it something Walters? Billy Walters? I don't know if I know who sings that song, but is that close? I don't know. I love the song. I just don't know who sings it. But yeah, so this is definitely what's coming through, that this is you and you feel like the Sun's been taken away from you, whether that's a community, a person, a relationship, whatever it is. And it feels like it just happened so fast. Things were intense and it happened so fast. Like notice that there's just this, in both of these cards, there's so much darkness and just a little bit of light. And then this person just kind of like put the sword down and just cut it off. or community or whatever it is. And so we've got the disinterest, and I feel like that's you feeling like people were turning away, or a person was turning away, and it made you feel alone. You felt like you were kind of minimized. And so it feels like that led to a sense of a loss of community. Let's go to the Light Seers Tarot and get just some more clarification on this. Spirit, what's going on with... Nothing flipped over, but it looked like it was going to. All right. Spirit, what's going on with this situation where somebody feels like they've been cut off from someone, that they're locked out of the sun? That's a lot of cards, so we'll put them back in, and if they come out again, then we'll know if that's what's meant. But that's the energy that I've been getting from these cards this whole time. 555. I mean, 555 is change. And it's like change, change, change. And there's a resistance there. It's like there's a resistance to the change, and there's so many thoughts, and it feels incredibly scattered. But at the same time, this pressure is just coming into my head. And this is intense and exhausting. And it's an energy that, I mean, I can't imagine someone would want to stay in. We've got the Nine of Wands, but it was in reverse, and I don't reverse my cards. And that can be determination, perseverance, and things like that. But I feel like, and then 9 being close to the completion of the journey, but I feel like this is more, I'm seeing the 10 of Wands, like just carrying around all these wands. And it feels less like determination and more like just one more, I keep hearing one more thing, just one more thing. So that flame, in my mind, I'm not seeing that flame glowing. It's more like, I don't know that I can do this again, is what I'm hearing. Like, whether that's build a community, in a relationship, whatever it is, there's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of defensiveness. I didn't ask a question, but just from what I'm seeing with the cards, we got the Star card. We've got the Empress that came out. I feel like this is nurturing yourself, getting those emotions under control. I often say with this particular card that this right here reminds me of like ocean waves. And so for me, that's kind of getting those waves, that water, those emotions under control. We've got the full moon kind of releasing the things that no longer serve you. Maybe they didn't even before, but it's all about that mindset shift. She's got something around her wrist that I've not really up here paid attention to before. And it's feeling like that's like just something that you're holding on to, something that you're having a hard time letting go of. And I keep being drawn down to her stomach, and whether that was an actual pregnancy or hope for pregnancy, it feels more like this is just the hope in general, like the idea of what things could have been, or you feel like they should have been, that it didn't turn out that way. And so it's hard to be in this energy where you feel like you want to nurture yourself or anyone else, that you feel cared for, or like you're caring for yourself. With that Star card, this particular Star card, there is a thread, okay, that goes between her and the sky. She's on the ground, she's grounded, she's looking up at the star. Her face, there's something with her face. She is looking up, but I'm noticing it looks like her lips are turned down. I feel like there's a little bit of hope there, but more hurt than there is hope in this particular situation. And notice how her hands are clasped around the thread, the string, the tie, whatever you want to call it. And it's keeping her tethered to that hope. And look, it looks like the sun. Look. So whatever it was that you felt like represented this sun for you, that the sunshine is gone. I'm hearing that. Is it Billy Waters? Billy Walter? I don't know. I keep hearing that name over and over. And the song, ain't no sunshine when she's gone. My throat, probably because of allergies, has been scratchy. Please excuse me. Let's hydrate a little bit. You're really, for whoever this is for, it feels like that you're really holding on to this to the detriment of yourself. And I feel like looking up at the sun and then the song and everything, there's an idolization. Like, even if it's not, maybe that's not the right word, but I'm seeing like somebody up on a pedestal. Like they've been put on a pedestal and they may not even be as bright and shiny as what it felt like or what you imagine. But it just feels like there's this focused aspect, 11:11 on the clock, which may mean that you even felt like this was a soulmate or a twin flame or something. But understand, whether you believe in twin flames or not, in relationships, 11:22 on the clock, there's not a perfect relationship. People are going to disagree, and sometimes that's the beauty of a relationship, because it makes you think through things that you wouldn't have thought of before, or you're able to work together to come up with solutions. But it feels like in this situation that this community or this other person, you saw them in a way that was above you, is what keeps coming into my mind, and I've been trying to not say. You saw it as your Nine of Pentacles. That this was so close to being what you wanted. Is that an actual bird or is it an angel wing? 12:12 on the clock. I don't know. I have not had any allergy reactions all day long. And even my histamine reactions have gotten better by taking Pepsid with my Allegra. But for some reason, my throat is closing up right now as I'm talking about this. So you may even feel like you're having a hard time talking about it, thinking about it, or that maybe somebody doesn't want you to talk about it. It's an actual bird. It's a dove, but it looked at first like just an angel wing because of how it's drawn. And so it may even be that you focus on divine connections to, or even your higher self, or I'm seeing a mourning dove now. So allowing yourself to grieve what you thought this Nine of Pentacles was going to look like, that it isn't going to look like now. She's even in the white dress, you know, and sometimes we may think of white as that color of innocence and purity, clean slate. Yeah, because I'm seeing somebody hanging, good Lord, hanging linens or bed sheets and things out on the laundry line. Now I'm having a hard time thinking of the words, and that's not, all right, let me ground, because something is just very strange in this message, but we're going to continue. So let me, and I'm getting pressure on my head. Let me just ground for a second. We're going to change the focus to another deck, because it feels like that's one of the things that whoever this message is for is struggling with, is being able to change the perspective. Because all I keep seeing is Eeyore right now. And Eeyore is not a bad character, but he sees a lot of things as mediocre at best, or like, well, I'll just deal with it. And so there's this call for you to be able to shift that perspective. Where are we going to go with this? Let's go to the Creatrix Anything is Possible deck. Spirit, whoever this resonates with, what do they need to focus on right now? What's going to be helpful for them? Because this feels super heavy. Ocean, dreaming. This is part of the initiation suit. Flow and enjoyment. So I'm going to get the guidebook out since I'm doing a longer read now anyway. And we will look and see what Melissa Harris says for this. So the suit is initiation. Initiation suit. So there is an affirmation at the beginning, and I'm feeling called to read it. I have not looked at what it is yet. I am nurtured, flowing gracefully on my journey, initiating new actions with passion and ease. Now I know I felt called to read it. All right, so we have ocean dreaming. The ocean is calling you, dear one. The salt, there we go. The salt water embodies one of the finest essences of the divine feminine, the power of the ebbs and flow of emotions. You are sure to be swept out into the deep water, pulled by the force of the undercurrents. You are not alone. Know that healing, you're not alone. Did you hear that? You're not alone. Know that the healing priestess is in the water, reaching out to help you. Let go of the safety of the shore and allow yourself to float. Hold on. We got this is completely that Empress energy. Even with I talked about this looking like waves. Like this is part of how you turn that perspective around. All right. We'll get back to the book. Let go of the safety of the shore and allow yourself to float in her flow. Take a break from responsibilities and enjoy the push-pull, the excitement of riding the waves, and trust the tide to take you back to safety of the shoreline. Inspire others with your example of going with the flow. I feel like one of the difficulties right now in this situation is you may have felt like you were going with the flow. If this situation, this person, this community, whatever, felt like the sun, then it probably felt like that you were in the flow of things, especially because I said it with the Knight of Wands and then this King of Swords, that you felt like it came in quickly and all of a sudden everything was like cut off. So going with the flow can be scary because, like I said, I feel like you thought you were going with the flow. It felt like things were lined up, that things were going to just really be, I'm hearing everything. That's all I'm hearing. Everything. It was everything. And it's interesting. The next page has this thing called Wild Card, and I'm being called to read it because I keep seeing you are loved. So we'll read this. Is there a place inside of you that is not able to accept love? Have you closed yourself off from the affections of others? Observe how you feel when love is offered. Are you able to receive the love people express for you, or do you become overwhelmed? Ask Spirit for help if you notice that receiving or giving love, and my ears are starting to hurt really bad. It's almost like for whoever this is for, it's like part of you, likely the inner child, because I'm seeing somebody that's just kind of curling up like this, is wanting so desperately to reject the message. And it really is hurting my ears. Ask Spirit for help if you notice that receiving or giving love is a challenge. Consciously receive love and adoration from yourself, because that often is where we have to acknowledge and accept love first. Do you love yourself? If you love yourself, 1919 on the clock, it's easier to recognize love from others and to accept it and to trust that it's real. So consciously receive love and adoration from yourself, others, and spirit. The Wild Card reminds you that you are always loved, blessed, supported, and guided. And then it says, love you. And I feel like that's kind of a love you to yourself, reminding you to love yourself. Let's go to the Archangels deck by Diana Cooper and see what divine support would be helpful to you right now. The biggest piece is being open to that help and assistance. Archangel Dracissa, I am butchering this completely. So this archangel is standing over Stonehenge. Gursissa, I'm not sure. Create a solid spiritual foundation. Be in service to the planet. So I know being in service to the planet feels like a really big task here. In a reading like this, I feel like the creating a solid spiritual foundation is definitely something that is needed. Let's go to the guidebook on this one too and kind of see where we're going with this. I'm not familiar with this archangel. All right. This archangel's influence spreads throughout the universe. Her gray and white colors radiate like spokes around her. Her etheric retreat is in hollow earth, and she works with the beings there to hold Lemurian wisdom steady and active. Wherever she is, I'm hearing nobody understands me. So you may feel like you're different from others. It feels like this is so hard because it feels like it's a recurring thing. Like you feel like nobody understands you. And what's the point? So let's get back to this. To hold Lemurian wisdom steady and active. Whenever she is in the universe, she connects to our ley lines and sends white light along them. This helps to keep the whole planet stable and in touch with the latest cosmic news. 22:12 on the clock. I don't know why that's important, but it feels like it is. So you are likely a light worker who 2222 feels so different from other people, and like it's difficult to connect with other people, and the hurt and the pain when we're in that state, even if we're a light worker, we're in that state of defensiveness. We're in that state of feeling so hurt. We're going to feel hurt sometimes, but that it's really difficult to turn it around. We lose focus on anything connected to what's outside of us. Or even if you believe in a life's purpose, a soul mission, we may lose sight of that or feel like maybe it never was. Like there's a lot of doubt that's coming in here. She is also working with a team of archangels to build an energy grid to connect all the stars, planets, and galaxies for the new golden age. Again, I just keep hearing somebody saying, I'm being left out. That's not for me. I don't believe it. She clears the energy around your Earth Star chakra so that the source light can pass through it to the center of the Earth, assisting you to create a solid spiritual foundation for ascension. I'm having a hard time because my throat still feels, it's not scratchy. Well, now it is, but it feels like a hand on my throat, like that either you're, whoever this is for, like you're stifling yourself from speaking, or you feel like you can't speak. I heard vow of silence, like that I won't speak because it doesn't matter. So the guidance, if receiving this card, is that you are ready to move forward. So you may not feel like you're ready to move forward, but you are on your ascension path. It reminds you to strengthen your Earth Star chakra by walking, spiritual reading, meditation, chanting, or I'm really having a hard time, 24:44 on the clock with this throat chakra. So I'm going to do something real quick before I finish. reading this because it feels like the throat chakra, so I'm just going to do a little symbol, is really struggling. Like, you're really having a difficult time. We're going to do some angelite and blue rose quartz. I'll hold them in my hands. If you do not wish to receive Reiki, you can set the intention out loud or to yourself that you do not wish to receive it, or you can skip forward in the video or whatever you feel is helpful to you. But we're going to send some Reiki with the blue rose quartz and the angelite to try to help open that throat chakra. I'm going to take a deep grounding breath. I welcome you and invite you to do the same if you'd like. You can close your eyes or keep them open. And if you're open to receiving, Reiki flows where the energy is needed. So there's nothing you really have to do. It's just an intention of whether you accept it or not. All right. God, angels, ancestors, and guides, please help whoever needs this to be able to balance their throat chakra, to allow themselves to hear, to speak, and to communicate openly, allowing themselves to establish and maintain boundaries that are helpful to them, helping them to recognize that their words, their desires, what they think and feel are important, that it is safe for them to communicate how they feel, or to trust that they can decide what is best for them, helping them to know that if a situation feels unsafe to communicate, something paused me there, that their voice is stifled. There we go. Now you're coming in. That others are not listening, or that there is confusion and misinterpretation. They have the ability to communicate more clearly and to seek clarification, or to make the decision that communication is not possible and allow themselves to know, understand, and feel at peace with their decision. $28.33. I don't know why that felt important. I hope that is helpful to you. There is a resistance there with communicating. There's a fear of saying how you feel, it not being received well, feeling like you won't know how to communicate if it's not received. And part of it's understanding not everybody's going to understand us. And sometimes we have to seek more clarification or try to bridge the gap. That may even be having somebody as a mediator, a neutral party as a mediator. It may not be. And that if it is something where you're not able to move forward, being able to accept that that possibility exists and it can be okay. So let's see where we were at with this card. Ask her to help you to, wait, is that where we were? Let's see. Strengthen your Earth Star chakra by walking, spiritual reading, mediation. Yeah, I don't know if my throat chakra is just having an easier time after clearing that energy, and hopefully yours is. And that was what I was going to say, or if yours is. But it is okay to communicate. I mean, listen to my voice now versus where it was even earlier in the read, but especially before I did that energy clearing just now. I hope it helped. I really do. When I say that, I really mean it. But it's okay to speak your feelings. All right, let's see where we're going. So we talked about being able to walking, spiritual reading, meditation, chanting, or your particular spiritual discipline. So whatever it is that feels right for you. Remember that intention is important. Intention is, I say everything, energy is everything. And so when you focus your energy on something and you have a specific intention, whether you have specific practices or not, you still can create situations, positive or negative. And so just use your discernment, because whether you believe in consequences, karma, whatever it is, what we do, what we put out there can return to us. And it's not always the best thing, and sometimes it's a wonderful thing. All right, where am I at? So ask the angel to help you sink roots deep into the hollow earth so that you can access wisdom and knowledge. It's also a card of universal service and calling you to assist the planet by sending your light down to the ley lines or round to the new multidimensional cosmic grid. So there's a lot going on right now with energy, expansion of awareness, self-awareness, awareness of others. Not everyone is becoming more aware at the same time. And so if you feel like this is a more global cosmic, like maybe the fact that, I say the fact, but from the reading, the feeling, there we go, that you are struggling with moving forward is keeping you from, again, whether you believe in the multidimensional timeline shifts, things like that, or it's even just that you believe that in your life it's hard to move forward unless you are able to release this and to heal, then focus on that. But it's saying that it's time to recognize that whatever that goal is for you, life's purpose, new situations, whatever it is, you are capable of creating that. But like I said before, it's going to take a perspective shift that comes as part of that healing journey. So one of the things that she talks about is how to work on ley lines and the energetic grid, if that's something that you are feeling called to. And so she talks about drawing the cosmic energy down through yourself and visualizing it as a column of light that you're drawing down through yourself and into the earth, and seeing it spread through the earth's fifth dimensional ley line grid and then out through Stonehenge to light up the cosmic grid. So this Stonehenge would be like a particular ley line area, 3333 on the clock, that is the focus of this card. You may or may not be familiar with Stonehenge. I wish I'd gotten to go there. It's in Glastonbury. I was a poor university student when I was in London. But anyway, whatever it is that you're feeling like is going to help you to be able to shift the energy, because that's the biggest piece of this. Like even the Reiki, it's shifting that energy, shifting that perspective, allowing yourself to, in whatever way is helpful to you, let go of some of those emotions that are keeping you stuck. So maybe that's screaming, maybe that's singing, maybe that's just dancing like nobody's watching. Maybe that is shaking it out, going to a rage room, whatever it is, allowing yourself to get that emotion out, and then focusing on bringing in what it is that you need. So focusing on what it is that you want, your higher self, calling on divine assistance, whatever it is to you, going out in nature and grounding. That could even be what this message at its simplest core could be for you, right? You get to decide. That's the biggest piece, is that you are the authority. You are the person that gets to decide what it is that you do, how you do it, and what you're okay with going forward. I'm feeling called to the Rebecca Campbell Work Your Light deck. Still feeling a pressure, but it feels like it's releasing a little bit, because this is a lot of pressure on you. And it's hard when we create the pressure for ourselves, because yes, the situation triggered the pressure, but when we're holding on to it so much, we're then creating that pressure, that difficulty. So what is the advice from the, goodness gracious, the Rebecca Campbell deck? Protection, call back your power, cut the cords, soul retrieval. So in the beginning, there was this feeling that someone else or multiple someones or whatever cut you off. And this is saying it's time for you to ground and protect your energy, to allow yourself to release those emotional ties, those energetic ties, whatever it is for you, and cut those cords. So I hope that was helpful to you. Notice that we've got kind of a new moon feel, an eclipse feel too, but a new moon feel here. And I really want to say with that, to focus on what it is that you want, especially after you've released the things that you don't want. But what's coming through is focus on what you want more than what you don't want. I hope that helped. And if you are in that energy, if this reading did resonate with you, I hope that you allow yourself the space to feel your emotions, but also to release them, whether that's writing, like I said, screaming, singing, whatever it is. Sometimes with big emotions, anxiety, anger, stuff like that, movement can be key. That somatic exercise, things like that can be key to moving those deep emotional wounds from our bodies, because trauma and grief can linger in our bodies at times, and we have to find ways that work for us, not just what somebody else tells you to do, to be able to release it. Again, I hope that was helpful. If you have a personal situation that you'd like to explore further, I do offer individual readings, pre-recorded or live sessions for the longer reads. The crow messages, short reads, are for very focused, one question, because they're very brief responses. They are literally going to be short messages similar to the crow messages that you see on my page if you watch them. But yeah, I hope that helped, especially because it felt very confusing. Maybe a good way to put it in the beginning. Take care of yourself, and like I said, feel free to look at the services if you like. And thank you so much for watching, for being here, for anything that you do, whether it's watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, or even just taking a moment to like check it out and say, what's this? Whether you stay or not, I appreciate it all. And my hope is always that the messages get to where they need to go. This was a heavy one, but I always try to focus on how can we turn this around. So part of that's focusing on you. Take care.